Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you HubFit's in-app nutrition tracker. We're going to look at it from the client side and how they can actually log their meals, and then from the coach side I'm going to show you how you can view these logged meals, how the compliance tracker works, and how to set macros target. So let's jump straight into it. Right here I have the client app open. I am in the nutrition section of the app and we're currently in the log food section. Here is where they can see their macros along with the goal. So if you set a goal, they will see the goal. So for example, the goal for the calories is 1,530. They haven't consumed anything yet. Once they do, they'll see how many of those calories are left. And here they can see the target for their macros. So for example, the target for the carbs is 150 and they can see how many of that they've logged so far. Over here, there's a note option. This allows them to add a note for a specific day. And over here, there's a couple of options that they have. So there's the macros breakdown, which I will show you later. Over here, they can copy the previous day's logged meals. This makes logging meals much faster. And here, if they want to reset the day, they can do that from this option. So to log a food in a meal, you can click this add food option. Here you'll see there's a couple of options. There's the food, so you can just search the food from our food database. You can also have pre-saved meals, and if there's a food that's not in the database, they can always come in here and add it in their own library. Over here there's a barcode scanner, so if I click on this, I'm currently on the simulator so I can't use it, but it works just as any barcode scanner would work. So let's go ahead and search something. Let's do chicken. Let's go ahead and add this first one here. So I can either click this to quickly add it, or I can click on the full food to view more information. I can view the macros, and if I want to modify the servings, I can modify this. So let's go ahead and just click add. So that's been logged into our meal. Now let's look for a wrap and we'll add this one here. I'll just quick add. So that's logged into our meal. So if I go back to our meal tracker, you can see here is the two food that we just logged. We can see the macros so far for this meal, we can see the total calories for this meal, and we can see our consumed calories versus what was assigned. So for example, so far we've consumed 20 grams of the target, and we can see how many calories we have remaining. Client can always click on this option here to save a meal to their meal library. This makes logging a meal easier. So we'll give this a name. We'll just call this chicken wrap, and I'll just do add. That way, the next time they want to log a meal, they can just do add food. They can go into their meals and then they can see all their meals. They can also just create an entirely new meal if they want to do so. But here you see this is the meal we just added. Next thing I want to show you is the client can actually log meals directly from the meal plans that you give them. So here we have our meal plan tab, and this is the meals that is assigned by the coach. So here you will see that we have a meal. So this is training day meal. We have 2 meals assigned, training and rest day. And here are all the different meals that we have. We can also switch between the multiple different options. If I click on this, I can see that there were 2 different meals assigned for this breakfast meal. So I can switch, and what the client can do is they can click to view the meal. So here they can view the meal and they'll see a log option over here. If I go ahead and click on this log option, I can log it directly into my meals. So let's say we want to log this into lunch. I can click lunch and I can do log meal. And just like that, they've logged directly from their meal plan that you've assigned to them straight into their nutrition tracker. There's also the option to do it from the outside. So for example, if I want to click on this, and let's say we want to add this dinner meal, and I'll do log meal. And if I go back into our log section, you'll see here we've just logged the dinner meal straight from the meal plan assigned to them, and the lunch straight from the meal plan again. And what's nice is they can always click on it and modify. So if they eat more than what was assigned or eat less, they can always come here and modify it. So that's what the nutrition tracker looks like from the client side. Let's switch to the coach side and see how we can actually view this data. So here we have the coach side. So at the moment I am in the nutrition tab of the client profile, and I'm in the nutrition logger section. So first of all, you'll see that we can filter between the different weeks. So if I click on this, right now we're in this week, and you can navigate between all the different weeks. Here you'll see there's a macros target option, and this is how you can set the client's macros target. So if I click on this, for example, you'll see here we have this as the macros target. If you have a separate macros target for rest days, you can turn that on, and then you can specify the macros target for that day. You can go ahead and enter the macros target, and as you're entering it, it will automatically calculate the calories for you based on the input. Now, what's really nice is you don't have to enter all of these. So for example, let's say you just want to give them a protein target. You can just set this without having to fill in the remaining fields. If you just wanted to give them a calories target instead of specifying these macros, you can do so. Here you can see the macros in a graph format for this week. What's nice is you can turn on the different options. So for example, if we just want to view calories and maybe turn off fiber, fats, carbs, protein, you can do so. If you want to maybe just view the protein and carbs and turn off calories, you can do so as well. Over here, you'll see the macros breakdown. Now this shows you the average along with the total. The average here is based on the days they log. So for example, if they just log 5 days of the week, the average would be based on those 5 days. Over here is where you can view their logged meals along with the compliance. So here you'll see that there's these indicators that is for the compliance, and you'll see the compliance for the week. So in this case, the compliance is 3 out of 7 because they've only met the target in these 3 days. Now these indicators mean different things, which I will jump through. If you don't set a target, you won't see these indicators. Instead, you'll just see a gray color, just indicating that they've logged something on this day. Green means that they're on target. Now there's a buffer of 10%. So if they're off by 10% or over by 10%, it would count it as they're on target. So for example, if the protein goal is 100 and they're 10% over or 10% under, we'd consider it within target. So if they get 97 out of the 100, it would be green. But if they get significantly over or significantly lower, it would be either yellow or red. Yellow means they were close to the target, and then red would mean they were way off. So I'll jump into each one of those to show you what that looks like. So if we click on this day, for example, on the Saturday where it was green, you'll see here that you can view the full logged meal, but for now we're going to focus on the compliance side. Here you'll see that they've hit the calories that you've assigned. So you've assigned 1,530 and they've hit 1,580. So they were over by 50, which is within the range. So it counts it as on track. Over here, they were off by 7. Over here, they had 5 remaining. So if you look here, they hit 115 out of the 120 that you've assigned as a target. The yellow means that they may be below or over target. So for example, if I click on Wednesday, you'll see here for fats, they did indeed hit the target, but for the remaining macros, they were way off. Now you will also see yellow if they surpass the target you've assigned. So for example, here you'll see that for calories, they were off by 240 calories. So in this case, it exceeded the assigned target. And here again, you see that it was over by 20. And then you'll see that there's this red indicator, and this just means that they're way off. So in this case, they did indeed hit 2 targets, but they were way off in terms of carbs. So you get these indicators from outside. And what's nice is you can actually align these indicators with the weekly chart. So if I put this on, for example, you'll see here we got a red indicator on Thursday. And if we look at Thursday the 18th, we can see that there was a drop in carbs. In this case, for example, on the 19th, it was a yellow indicator, and we can see they've over exceeded in the carbs. Here you'll see that there's a notes icon, and this just indicates if a client left a note on a specific day. So you get to see it from here to know that if you click on this, you can actually see the comments that they've left. Now let's actually dive into the logged nutrition. Here, if you scroll, you can see their full logged meals for a specific day. You can see the meal that they've logged, all the different foods, the servings for that food, along with the macros for each specific food, and then the overall macros for that meal. You can also view the client's logged nutrition through the Coach app. So I'm going to switch to the Coach app to quickly show you how you can do that. So right now we are in the Coach app. I am in the Clients tab, and at the moment I have this one client that we're going to click on. Here, if we navigate to the profile section, you will see this logged nutrition. And if I go ahead and click on this, you can view directly from the Coach app the client's logged meals. So I can navigate through the different days to see their logged meals. And I can also click on the macros breakdown to view the macro breakdown for that day. So that's everything for the in-app nutrition tracker. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comments below.